Okay, look, what I want to talk about this time is a new article. It's probably the most important article we've written up, and it's already causing a lot of problems in relation to getting this out, but that's to be expected. Now, what we actually have now is, for the first time, we had two people working on this for about 4 months. They had 8 pieces of skull that you would know about that we had. They had the complete photograph of a complete skull at the burial site to reference, and 2 others. So basically 4 different skulls they worked on to put together this model. This model is of an ancient being that we've been speaking about, but we've only been able to show you bits of it. And what I have now, and the only way this is going to work is to hold it directly in front of my face, which will probably be an improvement, is I want to show you now what this no forehead being actually looks like. Here it is now, and the first thing you're going to notice is what the reason we call it no forehead is very obvious. You'll notice also, look where the nose starts. Massive eyes. I'll talk about some comparisons we've made with Homo sapiens skull. And when you turn it this way, you'll find that primarily you have a skull that runs down and back, and it runs down and around the face. Again, face on, it looks just like that. I'm not changing the angle, that's how it looks. And when you turn it this way, it just runs down. Now here's the trick. When we hold it up like this, you'll find that the widest part of the skull is right at the back. Now, here is a skull of an original Homo sapien, which I'm going to hold up now. And you'll see the eyes, and you'll notice the eyes are a completely different shape. And what we found is actually the eyes of that one, for one eye, is 12 square centimeters. When we look at the eyes of this one here, it's 19.5 square centimeters. There's nothing about this particular skull that has anything in common with a Homo sapien. Now, what we've done in the article is we measured 17 measurements. We took 17 measurements. I think 12 were straight out measurements and 5 were estimations, like as in the size of the skull and stuff like that. And we put that together in a table. It's a preliminary read, and there's a second article already writing on the comparisons there because there's more to be done. But what it shows you is that this being has a skull that is much, much bigger than the Homo sapien. It's got a different jaw. It's got different eyes. It's got different eyebrows. It's got different everything. There's nothing in this being that is the same. Seriously, if we were to put flesh onto this, and that this being was walking down the street, every person would say, my God, it's an alien. Now, I don't know if it is or isn't, but I'm telling you, that's what you think it looks like. And we've been trained to think big eyes with a sloping skull. This is exactly what it is. Now, we're trying to put this out at the moment. We're trying to share this with people. And we had a presentation in Melbourne where we're going to show people a complete skull, and we're still going to do it. But I've already mentioned the fact that the council stepped in, and some others stepped in with the council afterwards, 3 weeks after they agreed to it, and then called it off and sent us a posting to say, a letter to say that they can cancel it for any reason they see fit. So we've got a new presentation on, and it's been posted up there. But here's the trick. About 3 days ago, our website, the booking group that we have, it said that the tickets were sold out. We sold 10, and there's room for 200. And for the first time ever, our site was closed for booking 11 days out. We're trying to get a change now, but there seem to be a lot of things going on here so that this doesn't get out. And we've read commentaries about this in the traditional archaeological websites. We've seen what they're writing about this, and they're really not happy about this coming out. Because what I can tell you about this being, and our presentation will spend a lot of time looking at this particular being and a few other things, including a ring, but we'll get to that some other time. But for now, this thing here, look at the face, if you can, please, ladies and gentlemen. I'll try and get this in order. Like that. It virtually goes straight down. Now, what I can tell you is, yes, when I hold it this way, it looks so ancient, but then you turn it around, you start to realize what's there, how big the skull is. You start to realize it's not ancient, it's just different. In fact, it's so different. It's not a sapien, and it's just not a sapien, and it can't be a hominid. And the reason it can't be a hominid is that there is on the back of this skull, there's no back suture that runs down the back of the skull that every hominid has. In fact, both the people who made this made many comments about the fact that the back suture is definitely gone. They're not sure about the side ones because the skull we have was broken up to 3 pieces, so we're not sure. It could have 2, but it doesn't have 3. Well, if it doesn't have 3 sutures, then it can't be a hominid or a sapien. So what is it? And why is it that we want to get this out to the public? And basically, we barely got ads out because we had to rechange the ads. We had the ads written up and posted up with that venue when they called it off. Why, if we're so wrong, why can't people just make their own mind up rather than being told by others that you can't look at this? We'll go behind the scenes and cancel this because you can't be talking about this. Look, let me leave you with one comment about this particular skull we've got here. And I'll try and show it to you. Right there, where I'm pointing, just here. That's the narrowest part there. And from here across to here is 9 centimeters. When we go to the top, up here, the widest part is 16. Here is a Homo sapien. It's 9 there, and it's 11 there. This one, the one I just showed you, I've measured up, is 9 to 16. They're not the same. And what I can also tell you is, guess which one's much, much smarter? Well, it's not Homo sapien sapien. It's not Homo wise wise. It's smarter. By comparison, you wouldn't even get the first S in on the first of the 2 sapiens by comparison to this one here. It is so much wider. What I find interesting is with this skull, the widest point is 16. When I go to the same position on the other skull, it's tapered back already from 11 to 9. So while it's tapering back, this one's widening out even more to 16 when this one's on 9. That's nearly double the length across the back. It's not the same thing. That much is for sure. So, look, I'm going to ask people if you can help us in one of 2 ways. If you know people in Melbourne that may be interested in this and you're not in Melbourne, do us a favour and contact them. Or secondly, try and help us in another way. We are going to mainstream media at the moment. We've done the Age, Sydney Morning Herald, the ABC, and a couple of others. The Herald Sun in Melbourne, I think, too. We've contacted them. Of course, no result. But if the media is attacked by people that's saying, why aren't you covering this? If you guys were to contact the media and say, why aren't you covering it? They might. And maybe they might even cover the presentation we're doing on Thursday. But here's the trick, ladies and gentlemen. The one thing I can tell you is that what we've now got, the people who did this made this skull up and made up what we have here today now. Completely different shaped nose, completely different eyes, completely different forehead, completely different everything. This one here, 14 centimeters wide the face is. This one here, 11 centimeters wide. I did the figures and it keeps coming up with gaps of 50%, 80%, 100% differences. And the overall on the 17 of them was 52% difference between every feature we measured or compared. Now what we're trying to do is get this out. You guys can help in any way, either by telling people in Melbourne to come along to this talk so we can get it out through mainstream, just through people talking about it, or whether you can lobby the media on our behalf. We'd appreciate that too, because we're trying both, and it's getting tricky because they're trying to block this out. But the truth is this, those beings existed, and there's 4 of them we found, and there's more, and they're not like us, but I suspect they're our ancestry, so they are like us.